So one of the messages that I give to everybody, but particularly young women, is, find what your passion is. Find out what works for you. Take risks. I think, and this is a generalization, but I think sometimes women are more risk adverse than they should be. And, it's okay if everybody doesn't like you. You want them to respect you, but it's all right if not every single human being is your best friend. That's just fine. And I also found early on, and I think that you women who are younger than me are far wiser, is that I thought that the women who had fought for women's rights and demonstrated and, really, really were champions before me, did so in order for me to have the ability to compete with men and do all the things that women traditionally did. And so I would go to work and I'd come home and I'd cook these wonderful meals and I would think I should take care of my daughter, and I was trying to be superwoman. And you know what? We're not superwomen. You're just human. And don't set that standard for yourself so high that you are going to disappoint yourself time and time again. And I'd have 1,000 balls up in the air and I'm like going around trying to make sure nothing fell, and the balls start to fall. You're going to drop some if you got 1,000 up there, and it's okay to ask for help. And I could not. I was a single mom from the time my daughter was very young, and I couldn't have done it without my parents. And so I asked them for their help, and fortunately they were able to give it to me. But build a circle of support around yourself so that you don't feel like you're drowning. And oftentimes, particularly women, just feel like they're drowning. And that's part of what has driven us to have this summit that the president wants to have. Is he watched his grandmother hit a glass ceiling working at a bank, and she was far more qualified than the people she trained who leapfrogged over her. He saw what it was like when the First Lady was trying to balance having 2 young children and having a big job at the medical center. And he's got these 2 young girls, and he wants them to be able to compete on an even playing field. And so he's really motivated by that. But you also have to just accept the fact that it's going to be really hard, and you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail, laugh at yourself, get yourself back up. I often tell stories about, this is one story about my local hometown newspaper that wrote an unflattering story about a group of women who had worked in the administration, all of us, and it was in the Sunday paper, and this particular newspaper does tabloid type Sunday paper with big pictures, and they had pictures of all of us, and it was just really, each story was worse than the one before. My best friend picked up the paper, called me, and I thought she was calling to commiserate. She said, "I saw the paper, great picture." So my point is, if your best friend doesn't actually read the article, don't take yourself so seriously that it paralyzes you, and get help. And also the other thing, I could go on this for a long time, got lots of advice for women. Things that I didn't do is that my theory is you can have it all, not at the same time. And that life is not a sprint, there's an arc to your career. And that if you make certain decisions early in your career, don't consider those sacrifices, embrace them and say, okay, maybe I'm going to stay home for a couple of years and be with my child and have that amazing experience. Don't be resentful of your friends who are working these high-powered jobs and making a lot of money or doing what their passion is. You're with your child. Or if you decide, my job's going to require me to travel all over the world, and so I'm not going to have children. Well, that's not a sacrifice. You got a really cool job traveling all over the world. And so I think that in the attempt to have it all, we end up thinking we're making sacrifices. It's your life. So, embrace it. Embrace all of it, and know that you may not have it all on day one. The first job you take is not the last job you're going to have. And over the arc of your career, things balance out.